Hey guys, it's Jake here with eTrailer. Today we have a 2024 Subaru Forester, and we're going to be taking a look at, and I'm going to show you how to install the CURT Class 2 1.25" hitch receiver. We have many different hitches available for the Subaru Forester. This being an 1.25" Class 2 hitch receiver, it's going to allow you to haul those 1.25" accessories. You can get bike racks, a few cargo carriers are available out there, and then ball mounts. Those are all great options if you need to find available space outside of the vehicle to be able to haul stuff. Our hitch pin hole will be a 1/2" hitch pin hole, so you'll need a 1/2" hitch pin. It does not come with the hitch, but we do have plenty on our website, locking and non-locking hitch pins. The safety chain loops, they are pretty far underneath the vehicle, which I don't necessarily hate. They just may be a little bit more difficult to connect up to. There's an S-hook style, it fits on there great. And then if you have a little bit larger clevis style, they also fit great on there. It's a little bit tougher to get on there, but they still fit just fine. Now a few measurements for you so you know how it's going to fit on your Subaru. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the outermost part of our bumper is about 4.5 inches, maybe 4.25. You're going to want to use that measurement when trying to look at accessories or bike racks, ball mounts, stuff like that. Compare that measurement, the 4.25, 4.5, to the measurement of the accessory from the center of the hitch pin hole to the closest part of the accessory. If you watch some of our test fits on our website, you'll see that they'll give you that measurement, and that'll tell you whether or not that accessory is going to fit on your vehicle before you even have to make a decision. From the ground to the top of our receiver tube opening is about 14 inches, and I'll help you decide what accessories that you're going to need in a rise position. I would say being at 14 inches, you should be okay with straight shank cargo carriers, but when it comes to bike racks, I would look into maybe a hanging style bike rack with a raised shank. Now, as far as weight capacities go for this hitch receiver, you are going to have a max tongue weight capacity of 350 pounds and a max gross trailer weight capacity that you can tow with of 3,500 pounds. You will want to check with your vehicle's owner's manual to see which your submodel is capable of towing and go with the lowest rated component between the vehicle and the hitch receiver. Now, when it comes to the installation, this is not going to be a super difficult installation. It's definitely one that I think you could do from the floor in your garage at home. But if you don't feel like doing it or you don't have the capability of doing it, feel free to check out our dealer locator on our website, and you can find a dealer nearest you that can get this job done for you. But with that being said, let's show you how to get it done. To begin our installation, we're going to need to lower our exhaust down. This will give us more room to be able to work up above it. We're going to have 3 exhaust hangers that we'll have to take down. We've got one right here. There's one on the other side of our exhaust. And then there's one a little bit further up here. You will want to support the exhaust with a strap. So we've got a cam buckle strap here. You can use if you've got a really stiff bungee or something like that. Essentially, you just don't want the exhaust to be able to drop all the way to the ground because it can damage it. So let's take a pry bar and pry this hanger off. Now we can take a 10mm socket, and we've got our heat shield up here that's covering up some of our holes that we need to get to. We'll take those 4 bolts out of our heat shield. Next, on our driver's side, we're going to have this panel that is covering a small portion of our frame rail. We'll have to take it down using a 10mm socket here and then a screwdriver over there. To get these push pin fasteners out, you just need to take a screwdriver, pop the center out, and then pull out the base. There's a couple in the wheel well that are a little tricky to get to. We've got one here and then one more up here a little bit higher. Then we'll just take our panel, and you may have to wiggle it a little bit in order for it to come out. I'm looking up here. There we go. Just have to pop this little tab out up there and it should pull right down. On each frame rail, now that we can see both of them, we're going to need to remove these rubber plugs. We will need to use these holes to get our hardware in place, so we can't have them there. We'll do this on both sides of the car. Now I'm going to take a step bit and we need to open up the center hole. So you've got your 3 that we just exposed here. We have to open up our center hole to 1 1/8 inch or until we can get the spacer block to fit up in there. You can see how it's not going to fit for a dream there. So we need to open that hole up. You can use a die grinder and just grind one side or the other, but I think opening it up with a step bit's a lot easier. Now that we've got the center hole on each side enlarged, we can start feeding our hardware through. You're going to want to take your fish wire. We'll run it up through this hole, and then we'll come out one of the other 2 holes. You'll want to have your spacer block and your bolt threaded onto it. We'll toss the spacer block up into the hitch first, or up into the frame first, and then follow it with the carriage wheels. Go. Sometimes these spacer blocks can kind of get turned sideways in the frame. You just want to make sure that it's sitting inside of the bolt sitting inside the spacer block and it's sitting flat and straight down. We're going to repeat that process for our remaining hardware on the driver's side, and then we'll do the same thing on the passenger. Now with an extra set of hands, we're going to take our hitch, lift it up into place. You want to leave those fish wires on there so that when you're feeding them down through, it'll help guide those bolts down through the holes in the hitch. We'll just lift it up into place. And once you get it to line up over those bolts, make sure all 3 are coming out. We'll take one fish wire off and get one of our flange nuts started. Now we're going to take a 19mm socket and snug these up. Come back with a torque wrench and torque these down to the specifications in the instructions. With all our hardware torqued down, we can take our panel and put it back up into place. The hitch is going to cover this where this fastener goes in or where this screw goes in. So just put one in the back and don't worry about this one right here. Last thing you want to do is take your exhaust and put it back up into place. And that's going to do it for the installation. Well guys, hopefully this video helped you decide whether or not the CURT Class 2 1 1/4 inch hitch receiver is right for you and your 2024 Subaru Forester.